It's time for our tech segment, and joining us now is our technology reporter, Paul Ndiho. Paul.
Thank you, Esther. Social media trends show an increased interest in blockchain and cryptocurrencies, especially on the African continent. Joining me to talk about the future of blockchain and cryptocurrency in Africa is Mr. Mussie Haile, the founder and CEO of Moya Technologies, a consulting firm based here in the Washington, D.C. area. Welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Right off the bat, what is a blockchain?
So blockchain is mainly famous by cryptocurrency, but we'll get to that. Blockchain is, the concept of it is creating a chain of events. So if you take a dollar, and if you go back and check where that dollar has been today, there was no way to figure it out. So what happens in a blockchain is you can go all the way back to the day that tree was planted, the tree was harvested, processed into paper, and then distributed through a bank. So every aspects of that process is documented, right? So the idea here is you can trace back all the activities that that dollar has been going through its own life cycle and validate that. The next step is, okay, what is cryptocurrency, right? So cryptocurrency is an output of that blockchain aspects of it. So the first digital entry is called a block, and everything that goes behind it is a chain. So you have blockchain. Now, cryptocurrency is a digital money. So you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, you have Litecoin, all the different coins. When it is created, you have multiple systems that validate that digital currency took place or that transaction took place. And that's how cryptocurrency is created. Today, in Africa, Bitcoin is known for a lot of people to use it, not to open up new businesses, but it's more from kind of how do I get money out of it. And as the market goes up and down, the value of that crypto goes down, and then the value of your money goes down as well.
Earlier when we were talking, we talked about how this could actually have a significant maybe impact on the continent. How big is it, especially in countries where they're beginning to use this cryptocurrency?
It is big. If you take Kenya, for example, in 2017, 2018, there were about $1.6 billion in cryptocurrency was exchanged.
Interesting.
So it's huge. Not from the government perspective, but from the citizens of Kenya perspective, right? And then if you take it into Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe is using Bitcoin for exchanges for daily activities. And then there's a lot of activity going on in Ghana and in Nigeria and Senegal and different places. And there are African countries that are looking into creating their own tokens or their own cryptocurrency to their citizens. What I see with cryptocurrency is the ability to do cross-border trading or payment perspective. So if someone was going to buy a coffee from Kenya and send it to Nigeria, there's no way a shilling and naira could be exchanged. But from a cryptocurrency perspective, you would be able to, it wouldn't matter if you have a shilling, if you already have a naira, that cryptocurrency would be able to make that transaction happen, and then the banks will be able to settle that money on their own.
Are you suggesting that this could be the future currency for the African continent?
It will be the future currency of the African continent, but it needs to be tied to an asset, or it needs to be pegged against a dollar or a euro. It has to have some type of backing. You can't just create it out of a vacuum like it is today. There has to be some type of tangible assets that could be tied to. So the value of that currency can go up and the value of that currency can go down.
Earlier we were talking about Libra. For example, what kind of impact has Libra had? You talked about how Apple, Amazon, and Google are also trying to come up with their own cryptocurrencies.
So there are different type of companies trying to come up with their own currencies. Libra more is focused towards consumer side of the house, and there are other companies like Marco Polo, and then there's R3, there's WorldWire, that's more towards trade financing kind of side of the house, whereas Libra is more citizens like you and me be able to go into a local shop, be able to buy and sell our goods. The issue that I see with a lot of these large companies, tech companies coming out with their own token is there are other issues within those companies. They need to be separated from the actual headquarters or the main company. They have to be a separate entity in order for that to operate. But I think Libra has a good way. It's going to take time for governments to approve it and people start to use it.
Very briefly, how can I lay my hands on a blockchain or a Bitcoin?
Well, today, in order to buy a cryptocurrency, you go into an exchange. There are different exchanges in the world that you can go buy from, or you can buy it online as well. You would need a credit card, and you would need to provide either a passport or a driver license ID to be able to purchase, because there's a customer requirement.
Thank you, sir. That was Mr. Mussie Haile, founder and CEO of Moya Technologies, based here in Washington, D.C. Back to you, Esther.
Thank you, Paul. Be sure to join Paul Ndiho each Wednesday for another tech report. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, have a good evening.